I hope you don't wait to give me roses. Please don't take too long to think that you should know me. Please, for real. Please don't wait too long to tell me I'm the shit, yo. See you flourish, looking salty, throwing fits, yo. Then you bury, getting lonely, wanna miss, yo. Get from rapping, you
Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Facts. I'm your host, Drizzle. Today we got a special guest in the building, Leon Gray of PAKG. How you doing, bro?
What's up? I'm doing pretty well. How about you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm smooth. Doing
So I like to hear it, dog. Good.
But I've been wanting to get a podcast interview, you know what I'm saying, a show with you for a while. A couple years ago, I believe, what was it, 2016, 17. And what did y'all Sports Center, 17?
I think 17.
17.
Yeah. All these days kind of run together.
Yeah, you dropped Sports Center. And at the time, we were still doing our podcast. Me and my homie had a podcast. And he had told me about, Flochella, Sports Center. And I didn't know who you were. So I didn't know who a lot of local artists were at that time. So I kind of like fell back after a while. A couple years ago, I was on it heavy. And then by like 15, 16, I kind of stopped, messing with it for real. Kind of just stopped taking an interest in it. And by like 17, he told me about Sports Center, and I checked you out. And I was like, bruh's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with that song. Like, that was one of my, on Apple Music, one of my top 100 played for the year. You feel me? Like, I fucked with it heavy. But I've always wanted to get an interview with you, bro, to check, just to talk to you and see, see what type of artist you were. But recently I seen that you transitioned from rap to, would you call it alternative or would you call it more rock and roll?
I like to use the term art rock.
Art rock? Okay, well, I see you made a transition there and you the lead singer of the group PAKG. Just tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did that happen?
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to be a rock and roll artist. Rock and roll artistry is really what even sparked an interest of being a musician in me. I never had a desire really to be a rap artist. I spent the bulk of my early years in the projects in Louisville, and when you're in the hood, you're in the streets, you're around street activity, basketball, everybody hustle, shoot dice, we do things that these government created housing areas like are designed for us to do.
Yeah.
They try to box us in. And we don't know any better. We don't have parents and stuff around for the most part. So we follow suit. So me being a rapper was kind of, like a cop out. Like I want to make this kind of music, but I don't think my neighborhood or my environment will take too lightly to it because they haven't seen it before. I don't want to be the oddball. I don't want to have to fight because what I want to do. So I'm just going to, make rap music. And one day I'll have the confidence and the skill set to transition into, rock and roll. But it's actually rock and roll that made me want to be a musician. I never had a desire to really be a rapper. It's just, what was presented to me.
And who are some of your inspirations that made you want to be a rock and roll?
So at the time, my mother was living in Park Hill, in the projects in Louisville. I was at her house. I think it was 2000 or 2001, one of those years. And I remember the moment where I'm like, I know I want to do this. I want to make people feel the way this guy's making me feel. It's 2001 MTV Video Music Awards, and the Chili Peppers performed Californication. And just the energy that I felt watching Flea, their bassist, perform, the way that he made me feel, that spark he ignited in me, I knew at that moment that I wanted to ignite that same spark into whoever was willing to pay attention one day. So that is what made me decide I want to do that. But I mean, like before that, I grew up I was born in 89, so like 95, 96, 97, whatever it was, MTV was like really popping, was a thing, so I call, like the back end of Kurt Cobain killing himself and Nirvana being a big thing. I caught the back end of the grunge era and then the post-punk stuff, Blink-182 and all of that, I was already like a rock and roll kid, period. Just from growing up in that big MTV video era, so I remember seeing the Marilyn Manson Beautiful People video on MTV, and then on the Box, this other weird video channel from way back in the day that
I remember
most
the
people
Box.
won't remember. I'm just an old dude.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson video.
Yeah, I would call. You can call and order. I would call and order that and get, complained at for raising the phone bill for ordering those videos. Yeah, so I always wanted to do that. But my early inspirations were, like I said, the entire grunge movement. Definitely Nirvana, Marilyn Manson, Alice in Chains, Blink-182, Chili Peppers, and as far as earlier influences, it was those, and then I dove into it and it went all over the place. But those are the initial ones that made me feel like, man, what they're doing is cool. It feels real. All these entities are so big in their own right, but they're not all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like in the hip hop community, which is not a diss of the hip hop community, because of course I was raised on a part of that. But whether it was New York or LA, the Bay, or down south, people have their own sound, but the look and the imagery and what they're portraying is somewhat similar. Mm-hmm. Like if you watch a Nas video back in the day, you watch If I Rule the World, you're gonna see Nas pushing the Benz with the gold chain and gold tooth or whatever. If you see a Master P video, you're gonna see the Chameleon Impala he used to have on the gold things with the chain and the grill. If you watch a E40 video, you're gonna see the 6.4 Impala with it was all the same.
Yeah.
So like if you met one or you heard one, you kind of had a general feeling of them all. And it was just different with rock and roll. It's like everyone was really expressing what they were internally, and it's just, I feel like it's just, that comes from that bond that you create with your instrument, when you're a musician, because Jimi Hendrix had his own thing too. And so did George Clinton and the Funkadelics. They were all their own different realm because of this relationship they built with their music. And the hip hop community sometimes seems like it was built more on the possibility of acquiring finances in a lump sum, more so than it was really about the expression or letting those internal emotions out. For the bulk of that community, there were standouts. You did have your Jay-Z's and your DMX's and your people like that put they all into it. You had your Wu-Tang Clans and, you had your stuff like that. But for a lot of it, it was the cliche, big cars and bitches and gold chains and shit. So it was kind of a turnoff for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of gravitated towards something that just felt a little more authentic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't you feel like, because rap is the number one genre in the world. Like it's huge. It's bigger than everything. Don't you kind of feel like rap is it has that rock kind of esque influence now? Like even some artists like Uzi's, tell people I'm not a rapper, I'm a rock star.
Yeah.
Like that. Maybe not necessarily the sound, but like the persona, the imagery, the artistry, and like the way that they move, it kind of speaks about like how you were talking about how the emotional side feel of how they make you feel emotionally.
Yeah.
Like their rap is kind of leaning towards that way now versus the original cliche. You still got those rappers, the cliche rappers, and all that stuff, but a lot of the bigger, more popular artists that are worldwide known are the more emotional side as rappers.
Yeah, it's I love you mentioned Uzi Vert. That's my favorite rapper right now. He's my favorite rapper. I love what he does. I love his energy, his attitude toward the music, toward his creativity. But I mean, that as far as answering that question, I feel like it's it's kind of a yes and kind of a no. I think it's a tough question to answer because I don't know if it feels the same way that rock and roll felt back then, because they weren't trying to be rock and roll stars. They were being themselves and they became rock and roll stars. Yeah. I feel like a lot of these kids or whoever, they're making an attempt to be or look like a rock and roll star. So it does have a different energy. It's not a hip hop energy. It's not a rock and roll energy at all. It's kind of like, it reminds me honestly of wrestling. Like the designed personas to sell a particular image or to sell a product. It really reminds me more of wrestling than it does either genre of music.
Yeah.
When we're talking about these personalities, you know, because you think about someone like Kurt Cobain and like how he made layered flannels and hoodies and thermals and stuff like a big fashion deal.
Yeah.
But he was doing it because he was super skinny and didn't want to get picked on. And I'm doing it because it looks cool. So I feel that way about what they're doing now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's something that's cool to be a rock star, you know, but I don't know if that's what they really are. I don't know if they even know what they really are. To keep it 100, that's not my place to judge, but it's from the outside looking in, the way things fluctuate and the way the energy shifts and the things they say when they speak and the way they act and the way they carry themselves. A lot of it doesn't seem authentic. They don't feel like rock stars to me. They feel like wrestlers. They're still incredible entertainers, but they're more like, it's more like watching the WWF to me than it is when I watch a Jimi Hendrix documentary or when I watch, you know, old Radiohead performances and see Tom York on stage. It's more like I'm watching Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I love him. So it's not a diss, it's just different.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, I understand that completely. Now I gotta ask you, bruh, what happened to Flochella? Why is it not streaming no more?
Yeah, everyone always, you would be amazed if I told you how many like DMs I got from people like asking about that tape. So what happened with Flochella, the day I decided to take all my old rap stuff off of streaming services is the same day I came up with the title for the PAKG album, The Kids Are Watching. Because that rap music I was making, it was my life, you know? I lived all of that, never lied in the line. But the way that I was putting that off, like I was just super proud of and just loved the things that I had to do in the street life. And it just was like, it was like I was smacking myself in the face. Like, it's like, nigga, you don't even enjoy that stuff. But you out here rapping about it and talking about it and encouraging other people to go out and do it. And my son is my biggest supporter. Executive producer of our albums. He tells me what songs are good, what songs aren't. He's 4. And every day I would pick him up from daycare and he'll get in the car and say, Daddy, I want to hear your new song. I want to hear your new song. And all my new songs was talking about selling drugs and womanizing. You know, so I'm like, you know what? If my son is going to be listening to my music and loving it, I know there's going to be a lot of other sons one day that's also listening to my music and loving it. I don't want them hearing that. I don't want them hearing me talk about how much money I made selling this or what I did with this woman, or it's a lot more relevant, important shit that I could be talking to these kids about if I have a platform, you know? So I took it all off. Like, you know, like it was doing all right. Like I wasn't like killing the game, but every month I'll make a, you know, couple $100 or something off streaming. I could pay a bill with it.
Yeah.
But I took it all off, you know, like whatever, because the kids literally are watching. My son, my daughters, they look up to me, you know, so I'm raising queens. I don't need to be talking about what girl gave me some oral sex or whose woman I took from them or how much money I went and spent. Because in turn, I'm nurturing my kids to live by the content I'm putting out. Yeah, so I just took it off because like I said, my kids don't need to hear it. Nobody else's kids need to hear it. I ain't judging nobody that makes it. I listen to it and I can relate to it.
Yeah.
But kids don't have the ability to differentiate between fact, fiction, reality, my life and their life. It all is one big thing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took it off because of that, because the kids are watching.
Okay. But how did the Snoop Dogg, how did he end up getting on SportsCenter?
Okay. So I have a friend that has some strong industry ties, industry connections, and she was helping, like she was co-managing me for a while.
Okay.
And I sent her the record, and she sent the record to him, and he immediately said, I want to get on it. So it literally happened, all of that happened within probably 30 minutes. I gave her the record, she's like, oh, I want to play this for Snoop. Then I'm like, cool, that'd be dope. Matter of fact, it didn't even happen that way. She just hit me like, yo, I played this for Snoop, he wants to get on it.
Yeah.
And then Snoop called me and we talked, and He's like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on this, nephew. You know, we're gonna figure out the paperwork and all that, nephew. Make sure you straight. Kept calling me nephew. He's really, OG, yeah. Uncle Snoop. He's really Uncle Snoop. And he cleared the sample, made it make sense, hopped on it. From the time that he said he wanted to get on it to the time that I had a verse back with Snoop Dogg on it was less than a 8-hour turnaround. So it was easier working with Snoop Dogg than it was working with the homies in the streets and homies that was out here in the city. Yeah.
Wow. So he went straight to the studio.
Straight to it. So what that lets y'all know is like even when people have made it and are millionaires and big superstars, huge, there's still a lot of them are still outworking the bulk of people that claim they want to be whatever they want to be today. You get what I'm saying? Because he heard their record, didn't play with it. Straight to the studio and did it. I done sent homies beats for features. Took him a month to get me a verse back. So everyone listening, that's not how you make it. You need to be more like Snoop Dogg. Hear the beat, make the song, get it out, get it together. Yeah. Superstars are outworking the common man. And that's why we stay common men.
Yeah. Nah, that's dope. That means he actually really, like, it wasn't no, like, favor, like, bro, he really liked the song.
Yeah, he really liked the song. It wasn't no favor at all. He didn't owe nobody anything.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, I like this song, I'm about to go, I want to rap on this.
Yeah, immediately. It was free. Only person that made any money out of that situation, he might have made some money from the record or whatever, but I made money off the song.
Yeah.
He didn't get anything out of it.
Man.
Just hopped on a good record and was super real about it. And Snoop is solid. Definitely solid for that.